The country music genre was launched by Dwight Yoakam. During a period when pop music was popular, he returned the genre to its honky-tonk roots, which changed it. He gained a legion of admirers and devotees thanks to his distinctive style and defiant demeanor, which set him apart from other musicians. Despite his achievements, fans and critics alike were perplexed when Yoakam abruptly vanished from view. His abrupt disappearance begs the question, why? Who was this unknown girlfriend, and what kind of person was she? Moreover, Dwight Yoakam's whereabouts are currently unknown. Along with our investigation into the tragic details regarding his biography, first we must determine his whereabouts in order to unravel the enigma of his vanishing. Dwight Yoakam. A quick introduction. Dwight Yoakam came into this world on October 23, 1966, in the Kentucky town of Pikeville. In the Appalachians lies a little town called Pikeville. The terrain was rugged, and many residents of Pikeville lived in close quarters with one another. Influencing Dwight's formative years, his parents, Ruth Ann and David Yoakam, were both very diligent people who instilled in him the value of perseverance. The family uprooted to Columbus, Ohio, in quest of better employment opportunities when Dwight was barely 2 years old. Despite the fact that at once they departed from the Kentucky hills, Dwight's connection to the Appalachian region persisted, shaping his worldview and subsequent musical compositions. Columbus was home to Dwight's typical working-class family when he was a kid. His mom was very multi-talented, and his dad was a gas station attendant, a job that will allow the family to make ends meet. Despite their financial woes, the Yoakams maintained a strong sense of community and family. A life filled with love and safety was provided for Dwight. His upbringing in a family that places a premium on perseverance and hard work informs the themes of numerous of his songs. The show frequently focused on the struggles faced by everyday individuals. Because his parents were such huge music fans, Dwight spent much of his childhood surrounded by music. His mom was the one who had a soft spot for classic country. Many country music greats, including Hank Williams, Johnny Cash, and P. Skline wrote it. The early influences on Dwight's musical taste came from these country music greats. Their stories and sounds inspired him to create his own music. While in Columbus, Dwight listened to a wider variety of music on the radio, which featured country, rock, and bluegrass. It was he fantasized about being a musician, and would spend hours upon hours listening to the radio, soaking up the words and melodies. His upbringing in Kentucky and exposure to Ohio's diverse musical traditions gave Dwight a fresh perspective on music. He came to greatly admire for classic country music, but he was also captivated by the edginess and defiance of rock and roll. This eclectic blend of musical influences would ultimately give him a sound that was distinct from other country artists of his day. It was evident that Dwight had a passion for music even at an early age. He received his first guitar from his uncle that they bestowed upon him at the tender age of 6, and it paved the way for his future as a singer. To master the basic instrument, Dwight devoted a great deal of time to listening to the radio and mimicking the sounds he heard. He quickly came to terms with his musical talent. He took it upon himself to compose music and experiment with various styles and sounds. When he was a first grader, Dwight began performing at school functions and family gatherings at this point, showcasing his developing musical abilities. Dwight developed an appreciation for the performing arts after developing an interest in music. He was an active member of the school theater club and appeared in several plays. Through his involvement in the theater, he was able to enhance his two skills crucial to his success as a musician were developing stage presence and the ability to convey profound stories. Among his contemporaries, Dwight stands out as a gifted rock band player who knows how to captivate an audience with his songs and charisma. Even though Dwight was a high school student, his passion for music continued to blossom. A rock band was formed by him and a few of his friends, in which he played guitar and sang lead. As evidence of his eclectic taste in music, Dwight frequently requested that the band play more country and rockabilly songs instead of covers of popular rock songs. The experience of playing in a band gave Dwight a taste of music and the thrill of performing live, which he thoroughly enjoyed. Performing at performances at various locations and school functions, gradually amassing a loyal following. A watershed moment in Dwight's life came when he put together the rock band. By observing the thrill of performing for an audience while jamming with other musicians, he had his first taste of the music industry. Despite his knowledge of the difficulties, it only increased his desire to pursue a career in music. When the band performed well in Dwight's hometown, it gave him hope that he too could achieve success in the music industry. Despite Dwight's growing love for music, he initially attempted to follow a more conventional path. Instead of continuing his education after high school, he enrolled at Ohio State. He intended to major in history in college. However, he quickly realized that school wasn't his true calling. Due to the overwhelming pull of music, he neglected his studies in favor of playing guitar and composing music. Despite the difficulty of the decision, Dwight decided to pursue singing professionally and left Ohio State after just 1 year. Dropping out of university was not rather simple, particularly considering the financial constraints faced by his family. No matter the cost or the uncertainty, Dwight would not budge from his goal of pursuing his passion. If he wanted to make it big in the music industry, he knew he had to play to his strengths. Dwight embarked on a quest with a guitar and lofty ambitions, determined to reach the epicenter of the country music is the staple in Nashville. Dwight Yoakam's future success was laid in motion by his modest beginnings and early life. He began writing music at an early age, and spent his childhood in both Ohio and Kentucky. He credits all of these things with shaping his artistic career. His distinctive sound was born out of his passion for both classic country and rock and roll, ultimately helped him become a standout in his field. It was a bold move to forego college and concentrate on music, but it demonstrated his commitment to his craft. This chapter of Dwight's life was merely the beginning of his incredible journey that would lead him to the pinnacle of country music stardom before he disappeared under an enigmatic shroud. However, relocating to Nashville turned out to be less than he had anticipated. Because of this, he would be at odds with the commercial enterprise. Difficulty with relocating to Los Angeles from Nashville. Dwight Yoakam carried the optimism and resolve of many young country music aspirants when he initially arrived in Nashville. But he had a very difficult journey. The business elite of Nashville were big fans of the polished pop sound that dominated the city's music scene in the 70s and 80s. Because of its raw and traditional sound, mainstream country radio didn't enjoy Dwight's music. Bluegrass and honky-tonk were its foundations. His incompatible work styles made it difficult for him to advance in his career. Nashville decreases its one Dwight. Nashville refused to embrace Dwight's style. It was a major issue, a difficulty. He had a natural talent for country music, but he was repeatedly rejected by record labels and other industry heavyweights who didn't believe his sound would resonate with today's listeners. Although the rejection was disheartening, it only served to strengthen Dwight's resolve. It was evident to him he embarked on a mission to discover an audience for his music because he was confident in its quality. Dwight realized through his Nashville setbacks that he couldn't pursue his creative vision in music without compromising his morals. He had to broaden his focus when he relocated to Los Angeles from within the typical bounds of the country music industry. Los Angeles, with its diverse and exciting music scene, was another potential choice. While country radio was king in Nashville, alternative country, punk, and rock were all present in Los Angeles. The variety of the opportunity to establish himself in a city that welcomed unconventional ideas and music was appealing to Dwight, so he decided to move there. A major decision for Dwight's company was the relocation to Los Angeles. He demonstrated his readiness to take risks by doing that daring thing, in command of his creative trajectory. Dwight escaped the confines of the conventional country music industry and departed from Nashville as a result. He uprooted to a city where he could fuse his honky-tonk heritage with the punk and rock subcultures, known for their rougher, more defiant elements. This fusion of musical styles, which he first discussed with Pete Anderson, would later distinguish his music from that of his in the alternative country scene, which garnered him a loyal following among his contemporaries. Pete Anderson, a legendary guitarist and director, became an influential figure in Dwight's career not long after he arrived in Los Angeles. While most of their peers were into rock, the two men happened to share a love of traditional country music, which led to their accidental meeting. Primarily punk and rock, Pete, who loves jazz and blues, recognized Dwight's talent and potential in his honky-tonk style. Immediately, they became fast friends in the music industry while working together. Through their collaboration, Pete took on the roles of guitarist and producer for Dwight's music. The impact that Pete Anderson has had on Dwight's music is immeasurable. His contributions enhanced the sound that Dwight created, which incorporated elements of classic country music with more contemporary production techniques, allowed him to reach a larger audience. In addition to allowing Dwight to realize his creative vision, Pete's expertise as a producer ensured that the songs he created were accessible to a wide audience and commercially successful. Their collaboration, a new chapter in Dwight's career, began with these events. In a music scene that was equal parts modern and classic, he would rise to fame. Dwight and Pete became an integral part of Los Angeles's burgeoning punk scene after their debut performance together. The cowpunk subgenre, which fused country music and storytelling traditions with the raw energy of punk rock. As a member of the cowpunk subculture, Dwight was able to flaunt his honky-tonk heritage while embracing the punk attitude. His results in when he began playing with punk bands in area pubs and clubs, both fans and critics took notice. His genuine voice and stage charisma drew them in. To climb the cowpunk ladder, Dwight needed to find an audience that was looking for an alternative to the mainstream country music of the day. The majority of his songs were melancholy stories. His music resonated with listeners because it was raw and honest, reflecting their thoughts and feelings about life's challenges and triumphs. When compared to the commercialized and overproduced country music that was popular in Nashville during that time, Dwight's music sounded more authentic and genuine. His devoted following swelled as a result of the refreshing shift. The string guitar Cadillacs was Dwight's breakthrough single in 1986, when he was already a rising star in Los Angeles. Both reviewers and listeners were pleased with the album, and Dwight received numerous compliments, catapulting him to stardom in the country music industry. Guitar's Cadillac, the title track, became an immediate hit, with its twangy guitars, infectious melody, and lyrics that lauded the classic country sound that Dwight had advocated from the start. The success of Guitar's Cadillacs gave Dwight a sense of accomplishment. It demonstrated that bluegrass and honky-tonk could potentially enjoy commercial success in the future, deviated largely from its origins. In addition to being a commercial success, the album enabled traditional country music to regain its popularity in the late 80s and early 90s. How Dwight manages to remain faithful to his creative vision while fusing modern and traditional elements earned him the admiration of music industry insiders, fans, and fellow artists. The breakthrough album for Dwight Yoakam was Guitar's Cadillacs. A period of tremendous innovation and achievement was about to begin. In that instant, when he finally found the admirers and attention he had sought for so long, all of his struggles in Nashville seemed to have been worthwhile. Nevertheless, when phase to Dwight's career took off, he found himself confronted with the pressures of stardom and the rigors of the music industry. This is the reason behind his peculiar vanishing from public view.